The green dot never went off. You were always online, always visible, always available. Message, react, reply. The read receipts tracked everything. You were visible, always visible. You started typing at 6 a.m. You stopped thinking at 9 p.m. The status stayed green. The company called it collaboration. The app called it engagement. Your nervous system called it surveillance. Slack was supposed to make work easier. Instead, it made you transparent. Every message time-stamped. Every reaction catalogued. Every delay noticed. You replied within 90 seconds, then 60, then 30. Then the notification arrived before you'd finished reading the previous one and you stopped reading entirely. You just reacted. Thumbs up. Check mark. Eyes emoji. Whatever made the red dot disappear. The typing indicator betrayed you. 3 dots. You were composing something. Then the dots stopped. They saw you delete it. They saw you hesitate. They saw you thinking. You learned not to think. The status options were a lie. Away meant nothing. Do not disturb meant nothing. They could see when you'd last been active. 2 minutes ago. 4 minutes ago. 6 minutes ago. The gaps were evidence. Evidence you weren't working. Evidence you were slacking. Evidence you needed to be managed. So you stayed green. All day. Every day. The dot became part of your identity. Online meant employed. Offline meant expendable. The channels multiplied. Team channels, project channels, department channels, social channels, announcement channels, random channels, channels for channels. You were in 47 of them. You muted 42. The notifications still found you. The DMs were worse. Your boss's boss, the project manager, the account manager, the person who needed approval, the person who needed an update, the person who just wanted to say hi, the person who sent 3 messages when one would do. Hey, you there? Quick question. You learned to hate the word quick. Quick meant urgent. Urgent meant now. Now meant drop everything. Everything meant your lunch, your focus, your sanity. The threads became infinite. One question spawned 12 responses. 12 responses spawned 48 reactions. 48 reactions spawned 6 new threads. You lost track of what you were supposed to respond to. You responded to everything, just to be safe. Your focus shattered into 15-second intervals. Read message, process message, craft response, send response, wait for reaction, check for new message, repeat, repeat. Repeat until the concept of deep work became a myth you'd heard about once. The anxiety calcified. You checked Slack before opening your eyes. While brushing your teeth, during meals, during meetings about Slack, you dreamed in notification sounds. The gentle thud of a new message, the harsher ping of a direct mention, the algorithmic chime that meant someone was waiting. You were always waiting for approval, waiting for feedback, waiting for someone to read your message. The read receipts showed they'd seen it, seen at 9:47 a.m. It was now 2:33 p.m. Were they ignoring you? Were they busy? Were you not important enough to respond to? The double standard crystallized. When they didn't respond, they were busy. When you didn't respond, you were unresponsive. The performance review used the word unresponsive. You'd responded to 4,216 messages that quarter, unresponsive. You started typing responses immediately, before reading the full message, before understanding the question, before knowing if a response was even needed. You just needed them to see the 3 dots. Proof you were engaged, proof you were available, proof you existed. The boundaries dissolved. Work hours meant nothing when the app was always open, always on your phone, always on your desktop, always on your tablet, always synchronized, always waiting. The messages came at 11 p.m., at 6 a.m., at 2 a.m. You responded because the green dot was on, because they could see you were awake. Because ignoring a message felt like ignoring a person, felt like failing at your job. Your manager suggested setting boundaries. In a Slack message sent at 10:47 p.m. on a Saturday, the irony died with your ability to recognize irony. The presence awareness feature launched. Now they could see what you were looking at, what channel, what thread, what message. The Panopticon tightened. You were visible. Your attention was visible. Your distraction was visible. You opened Slack. You stared at Slack. You moved your mouse in Slack. You looked busy in Slack. You forgot what you were supposed to be doing that required Slack. You just knew you needed to be there. In the green, in the visible, in the employed, the company added status updates. What are you working on? Share with the team. You updated it every morning, reviewing documents. In a meeting, focused work. The focused work status was a lie. There was no focus. There was only Slack, and the fear of being caught not being in Slack. You tried to quit. You closed the app. The desktop notifications continued. You disabled desktop notifications. The mobile notifications continued. You disabled mobile notifications. The email notifications continued. Slack wanted to bring you back. Slack needed you online. Slack missed you. You missed 3 messages in 45 minutes. Your manager asked if everything was okay. You said yes. You turned all the notifications back on. The psychologist asked about your anxiety. You mentioned Slack. She didn't understand. You tried to explain the green dot, the constant visibility, the permanent availability, the digital panopticon. She suggested mindfulness. You suggested she check her Slack. She had 600 unread messages. She understood. Neurologists documented it. They called it digital visibility syndrome. The chronic stress response triggered by persistent monitoring. The cortisol spike every time the notification sounds. The dopamine crash when the reaction never comes. The parasympathetic collapse when you can't escape the thing that's always watching. The studies were published. The apps ignored them. The features multiplied. Read receipts, typing indicators, presence awareness, screen sharing, activity tracking, the surveillance disguised as productivity tools. You're still green, right now, even as you hear this. You checked Slack 4 minutes ago. You'll check it again in 2 minutes. Not because you want to, because the dot demands it, because visibility isn't optional, because the panopticon doesn't sleep,